How's it going, Dragons? Today I'm going to be showing you a blind second Cyber Dragon deck profile. So first, we're going to start off with 3 Cyber Dragons. 3 of the OG Cyber Dragons. It's pretty good for going second, breaking boards. Also, I will be playing machine duplication, so you pretty much need 3 Cyber Dragons if you play machine duplication. Okay, so next, we're of course going to be playing 3 cores. This is one of the best cards in the deck. It helps search for, well, it doesn't help search. It does search for your cyber spells and traps. Also, you could banish it from your graveyard to special summon a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. It's not just Cyber Dragon, it's a Cyber Dragon monster. So yeah, this is one of the best starting cards. When Dragoon comes out, that's a 1-card Dragoon. And also playing 3 Hertz. This card is a great searcher. It's great with Galaxy Soldier. Great extender. Also helps recycle your core. If you use Competetive Rampage Dragon, you could send this in a core and search for a core. Then 2 Naxter. I really like this card, but 3 can be a little excessive because it could lock you into machines. Locking into machines is not that bad right now, but when Dragoon comes out, you're going to want to not be locked into machines. Next we have 1 Veer. This is a pretty good for chain blocking with core. It doesn't really conflict with machine duplication. You want the machine dupe to resolve, so you're going to summon core, and if they ash your core, then you could just machine dupe. Then when you machine dupe, you can also chain Veer to the Cyber Dragon summoning, and then you get another extender. 2 Galaxy Soldier. 2 is good. You don't really need 3. 3 could be too much. It's really good for making infinity. If you see this card, you pretty much make infinity right away. Next, there's 2 Kaijus. This card is good for breaking boards because you could special summon it to your opponent's field, and your deck already has a built-in out to it with a Chimera Fortress Dragon. Next, for some of the hand traps, I just have 3 Ghost Ogres. This hits the Hauki Fibrax combos really well, and also Numerons. It's a pretty good hand trap, and also it's a light, so you could send it with Galaxy Soldier if you ever need it. Okay, so that's it for the monsters. And now for the spell cards, we have 3 Cyber Emergency. This is a great card for searching any Cyber Dragon monster. And then next, 2 Rev System. I really like 2 Rev System instead of just 1. There's a lot of times when I've tested where the second Rev System really comes up. I honestly search this card a lot. It's a really good extender and a really good for recoveries. I don't think you need 3 though. 3 could be too much, but I definitely think you need 2. Next, there's 1 Cyber Repair Plant. 2 is just too excessive because it's once per turn and could be kind of bricky. Next, for the fusions, there's Cyberload and Overload, 1 of each. Now, I would play more Overload, but since we have Anaconda now, it's easily searchable. And also, Cyberload is good for sweeping in for a few more damage with Twin Dragon. Just in case you need it, it's there. Next, 3 Machine Duplications. If this card resolves, you should just win the game. There's really not a reason why you shouldn't win the game, because you just get so much advantage with this card. Next, we have 3 Dark Ruler No More. The reason why this is in the main deck instead of the side deck is because it's really good for going second against unbreakable boards. So you could really just play this card and then break your opponent's board, set up enough negates, and then win next turn. This deck can actually set up a pretty good amount of negates. Cyber Dragons are definitely not go second or lose like some people like to think for some reason. So if you play this card, you can just break your opponent's board, set it up enough negates, stop them from playing, and then win next turn. So that's it for the spells. Next, for the traps, we have 1 Cybernetic Overflow. It's pretty good when you need it. Next, we have 3 Infinite Impermanence. This card is a good hand trap, and also it's good for outing things. Like if your opponent has an Appaloosa or something, you could use Imperm on it, and it'll stop it. It could help bait out negates too. Next, this card is really great in this deck. It's evenly matched, 3 of them. I feel like evenly matched is better than Lightning Storm in this deck, because your opponent can, first of all, play around Lightning Storm, and also, second of all, Cyber Dragons can really put up enough negates to just stop your opponent after banishing almost their entire field. If you see like these 2 cards in your hand against like Adamantipator's or something, and then set up even just an Infinity, I say, you could pretty much have game with that. And so that's the main deck. It's a 40 card main deck. Now for the extra deck, we have 2 Cyber Dragon Novas. Some people are just cutting Nova down to 1, but I think Nova is better at 2 now, especially that we have Dragmas. And also 2 Infinity, so you could summon off of your Novas. For example, if your opponent uses their Dragma to send 2 cards from your extra deck to the graveyard, you could send these 2, get out a Mechaba, and then on your turn, and let's say you just have Naxxter and Machine duplications, or just pretty much any extender can help you get 2 Infinities, and you could set up a lot of negates and break your opponent's board. Lastly, for the XCs, there's just 1 Constellar Pleiades. This could come up if you have a lot of extenders. You could just make Infinity and Pleiades. Sometimes you don't even need Galaxy Soldier. You could just really pop off without Galaxy Soldier and make Infinity and Pleiades. Next is Almirage. I feel like this is a necessity in this deck because you need it for the combo with, let's say, Core and a Cyber Emergency or something. You can summon Core and search for your Repair Plant, and then link it off into Almirage, and then you could pretty much just use both of these, make Infinity. You may say that you could use Mega Fleet to just send Core to the graveyard. If we're going first or something, you're going to need this. Also, since we're in Master Rule 5, there's less summoning in the extra monster zone. Next is 1 Cyber Dragon Seeger. It's not bad going first at all, because it makes itself a 4,200 beat stick, and it's really awkward for a lot of decks to just bypass, so you could use this to get around certain monsters. When Dragoon comes out, this is an out to Dragoon. Also, it's a really easy OTK machine with your Rampage Dragon or your Twin Dragon. Next, Predaplant Verte Anaconda. This card is really good in this deck. Because of this card, I feel like any hand is very easily an OTK. Next is 1 Cyber Twin Dragon. It's really good with Cyberload Fusion when you need to go for game. Let's say you have a Seeger and a Cyber Dragon on your field, and they have like 1 monster on their field because you broke their board almost entirely. You use Seeger to boost Cyber Dragon's attack over the monster with Seeger, attack with Cyber Dragon, and then you could use Cyberload Fusion after, since it's a quick play spell. Fuse and summon these 2 monsters, and summon your Twin Dragon, and then you could easily just swoop in and OTK them from there. Next, for our best OTK machine, we have Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. This card is a good extender. You could also use this card to search for Cyber Dragon Core by sending Core and her to the graveyard with its effect. You could also destroy spells and traps. It's good against back row decks. Next, we have 2 Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragons. Also, shout out to our opening of Battles of Legend Armageddon, where we pulled this shiny card, the secret rare version of it. I really like it more than the ultra rare version. Now, there is less summoning in the extra monster zone because of Master Rule 5, but there's still going to be summoned. Apollosa and a lot of boss monsters that go in the extra monster zone. I remember a lot of people thought that Cyber Dragons were dead when Master Rule 5 came in because you can't use Mega Fleet every turn now. But no, that's completely false. This deck is better, actually, I would say. Next, we have 2 Fortress Dragons. I put in 2 because I really wanted to match the amount of Kaijus we have in the main deck. So just in case if we put a Kaiju on our opponent's field and we can't out it easily, now we have an out to it. And finally, we have Invoked Mechaba, which is used to summon off of Cyber Dragon Nova. Since Dogmaticas are in the format now, we can easily implement Cyber Dragon Nova and Invoked Mechaba as a counter. Because when they use cards to send cards from your X deck to the graveyard, you could just send Nova and summon Mechaba and get a negate out of it. And plus you could also summon Nova back with Naxter next turn and get a free Infinity. So you could say that the Dogmaticas kind of help us in a way. Moving on to the side deck, we have Didi Crow. It's a pretty good hand trap to side in against decks that revolve around the graveyard. This wouldn't be a bad main deck card. It's good against Salamandrates. It's good against Dragon Link sometimes. It's good against Halki Fibrax combos. It's just really good all around. But some decks might not rely on the graveyard at all, so it could be kind of bad against those decks and just a brick. So that's why it's in the side. Next is 3 Nibiru. It's getting a little worse now that Numerons are able to just play around this. But it's still pretty good against decks that summon a lot. Sometimes some people won't really try to play around Nibiru too much, or just can't. So this card really helps destroy their entire board. Since Adamanticators are pretty good at playing around Nibiru, let's say they have a Herald or something, you could first imperm the Herald and maybe bait out a negate and then Nibiru them. It does kind of conflict with Cyber Dragon, which you can't control any monsters to summon it, but it's not really too big of a deal because it doesn't really hurt your combo much at all if you can't summon Cyber Dragon. It's just an extra extender. And then we have 1 Pankratops. It's a pretty good going second card. It's a decent beat stick. It's another out to Zexal. It's just a pretty good card going second. For the spells, there's 3 Twin Twisters. Now some people might think Cosmic is better than Twin Twisters. That's why I play 1 Cosmic. Twin Twisters is also really good, and it's better in some situations. Since this deck is an OTK deck, let's say we're going against Eldritch, if we open Twin Twisters, we could just OTK them by destroying tons of their back rows. As other decks that aren't an OTK deck might prefer Cosmic over Twin Twisters, so they can get rid of their resources faster. 1 Cosmic is still good though against Mystic Mine when they use cards like Prohibition, or just in general spells that can't be destroyed. And also, of course, it's good against Eldritch. We have a few traps. That's Dimensional Barrier. If you get a matchup against Numerons or some Synchro-based decks, you might want to go first. Signing in this card going first can just be an instant win. It can't be impermed like Scythe can, and it really just helps turn off a core part of your opponent's extra deck. For the final card, there's 1 Red Reboot, because it's limited, sadly. If you see this card against like Eldritch or something, you just win, pretty much. Okay, so that's it for the Cyber Dragon deck profile. If you want more, make sure to subscribe, like, notifications, all that stuff that YouTube wants me to tell you. Have a great rest of your day.